So I'm gonna keep this very straight and to the point for those of you that want it. The OCG ban list just dropped, and for the first time in a while, I got like 5 messages back to back from you guys telling me about this list, and I think it's kind of fitting because the last video we just released was on basically our predictions for our TCG list, and then here comes the OCG list after all the rumored ones, and the list is crazy, but for a very weird reason. And we're going to talk about it. Again, it happened while I was at work, and I wrote it all down because that's how we do things. You guys seem to really like this format of ban lists. Like, I don't know if I'd call it a reaction, but talking about the ban list either in OCG land or here in the TCG land. And yeah, we're just going to keep doing it like that, especially when they drop while I'm at work, but we can still get things done. But yeah, if you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I upload videos. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. So these are the things that I think could happen to the TCG based on this list. We've done our predictions. Now we're going to talk about this. There are things I like about this list, things I don't like about this list, and there are things that we can take away from this OCG list that I feel can come over here to the TCG. So if that sounds interesting, we're going to hop into it. So for the banned cards, there were only 2 banned cards. It was Azathoth and Gumblar. So Gumblar has been banned here in the TCG forever. I played it once, card was broken, was glad it was gone, never wanted to play it again. I don't think that card will come back. Good thing they banned it over there in OCG land because they were abusing it. I mean, just being able to make it so your opponent can't play, they literally have no hand to play with is insane. So just getting rid of that card outright is just like perfect. And Azathoth. So Azathoth is really interesting. There's a lot of cards on here that actually kind of work and tailor towards like those danger FTK decks, the ones that were like with Slash Draw, the ones with the Cannon Soldier, Dark World, the one with the World FTK. And several of those cards actually did get touched here on the list here in OCG. Now, the funny thing is that Azathoth I don't think would get hit in the TCG. The only deck that plays Azathoth that I know of is the Lunalight Orcus deck, so I feel that yes, they do have access to it. Yes, they make it every start of their turn, but I feel that that being the only deck that's playing it, I don't think we're going to see it hit over here in the TCG. However, it is a floodgate monster that does turn off all hand trap effects, monster effects outside of impermanence, so it would be interesting if they would do that. Do I think they will ban it over here in the TCG? Absolutely not. I could be wrong. You guys can call me out when the list drops if I'm wrong, but I really don't think Azathoth has made a big enough impact to where it's going to, be touched here in the TCG. I think they're going to focus more on Orcus and stuff like that. But that was it for the banned cards. There were 2 banned cards, and there were only 2 limited cards. And these limited cards are interesting. They brought back Zodiac Trident, and they limited Beginning of the End. So Zodiac Trident. There was a time that OCG basically banned Zoo cards because they were tired of everyone playing it. They were tired of the impact that they had and that everyone was playing it. The deck was one of the best decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no denying it. We saw the Rampage it ran out in Japan. We saw the Rampage it ran here in the TCG. And they finally brought back Trident to 1. Now here's the thing. Trident is not a big deal like it was years ago. The card just can pop a card. That doesn't matter. It could come back here in the TCG, and I don't think it would make a huge impact. The fact that Zoo is not the same deck it was, the fact that the mechanics have changed, the fact that there are stronger decks makes it to where you could bring Trident back to 1 here in the TCG, and I don't think it would make a huge impact. People would try to play Zoo. They would, because people love Zoo. I love playing Zoo during the Zoo format. A lot of people loved playing Zoo during the Zoo format. A lot of people hated playing Zoo during the Zoo format. But I feel that Trident potentially could come back here in the TCG as a 1 of, or maybe a 2 of, or maybe it even come to 3. Who knows? But I feel that the card would not have a huge enough impact even if it did come back in the TCG. And you guys will see, I don't think it's going to have a fantastic effect over in the OCG land, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll do something. But yeah, so Trident came back to 1. So Beginning of the End. Y'all know I love this card. For those of you that don't know, if you have 7 or more darks in your graveyard, banish 5, draw 3. Draw 3. Not once per turn. Draw 3. So again, this is back to the Azathoth, the Saryuja Turbo, the Danger FTK decks. You could use multiple of this card, draw through most of your deck, and see your win condition quite consistently. That is why that card was hit. John brought it up in his review of this list. Blade YGO has talked about it, that there are a lot of draw cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a ton of draw cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Beginning of the End is the one that doesn't get enough attention. The reason is because only one type of deck really plays it. I have not seen any other deck use Beginning of the End outside of a Danger, like super dark base deck. I think that what they're trying to do is just eliminate one of the strongest draw cards that, while it's only used in really one deck, Japan is known to put things together. When they first revealed the Dangers, they showed the Slash Draw FTK, they showed Beginning of the End, they showed how you could use all these cards in tandem with each other to basically, facilitate the FTK. And the fact that this card lets you draw 3 and is not once per turn is insane. they do have Saryuja to 1. So that is one interesting thing I will say. Well, we have Saryuja here at 3, beginning of the end here at 3 in the TCG. Over there, they only have 1 Saryuja. I believe Slash Draw is banned over there as well, and I believe now with beginning of the end at 1, they really just don't want any of those super turbo draw my whole deck in one turn and take like 20 minutes for one turn to FTK decks to exist. So I think they're just hitting the cards now so that they don't have to deal with them later. That's something that I noticed in Japan that happens, and something could come over here to the TCG. While I think both of these cards to 1 are interesting, I don't think they would have a huge impact here in the TCG. I don't think they're going to touch beginning of the end because, honestly, the decks haven't done anything. The last time I played the World FTK was ages ago, and the deck is just not consistent enough. Even with all the draw cards, even with 3 Saryuja, you just died into Nibiru, you died to hand traps, you died to a lot of things if you can't make Nyarla and Azathoth. I don't think beginning of the end is such a high impact card here in the TCG that it'll get hit. So I think that both of these limits are really just kind of, they're not going to do anything for the TCG here, but I just had to bring them up. But here is where the list gets interesting. The semi-limited. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 14 cards that went to semi-limited. You know how many times we've said semi-limited doesn't matter? Well, we basically just got slapped in the face because I guess we're dumb for ever saying that. So these are the cards that got put to 2. Molaseek, Altergeist, Galatea, and Harpur. That's their idea of hitting Orcus. I think that sucks. I don't think that does anything. That lowers the consistency a little bit with Harpur, but that doesn't do anything for freaking Galatea. Like, Galatea at 2 is fine. There were decks that were playing 2 Galatea for the longest time, and yes, I know 3 is standard now, but you put it to 2, who cares? That gives you an extra deck spot to mess with, so I don't like that hit at all. They put Deep Sea Diva to 2. We talked about that in our pan list prediction because of the new Deep Sea Diva support. I already heard that Ulti Divas or whatever, Super Divas, my bad, Super Divas are like 60, 70 bucks right now. So insane, but yeah, we also have Baby Sarasaurus. So the card was at 1 in Japan. Card is still here at 3. The difference is the lithogasm and all that still hasn't been touched over in Japan. Putting this card to 2 I don't think is going to make a difference. I don't think we'll see enough people playing Dinos, or at least trying to play that version of Dino since all the cards are still hit. But it at least gives Dino players more cards to work with. Next we have Tour Guide to 2. I think that's pretty cool. Tour Guide has been around for years. The card's been at 1 forever. There are so many answers to that card. There are so many hand traps that just obliterate that card that putting it to 2 I think makes no difference. I think that it's kind of cool the card could come back to 2. Maybe next list we'll see it back at 3, and I don't know, we could try to play some crazy super old school Dino Rabbit decks, or just something that plays Tour Guide. But yeah, Tour Guide at 2 I don't think is a huge problem. Mathematician at 2 is interesting. So they had it at 1 in Japan, now it's at 2. So the thing is that Mathematician along with Orcus still makes combos. So like I said, putting Harpur and Galatea to 2 I don't think fixes the problem at all of Orcus, but I'm not the one who makes the list, so that's all I got to say about that. One of the things that we talked about again on our prediction list for the TCG is they put Unicorn to 2. It gives Necroz more power. Now, granted, it is a floodgate monster similar to Azathoth, as it does turn off the extra deck and like a game mechanic, but overall, I don't think it matters as much. We'll see if people are going to play Necroz more now that the Unicorn's at 2. For Thunders, they hit Dragon Roar. Now, they've already hit Colossus. They've already hit, parts of the deck. Dragon Roar, I mean, I guess at 1 does kind of hurt. It is one of the best and worst ones in the deck. Like, it's a card you want to banish. It's a card you want to, trigger off with your effects. And yeah, it's not the best one. Like, it's the card you want to send off Solar and banish it to start your combos. I think at 1, I mean, it does lower the consistency of seeing it. Like, you need to play Solar for sure now. Like, you need to be able to send it to the graveyard. But I think overall, I don't think it's a horrible hit. Like, I don't think Thunders are just as good as they could be, especially in Japan, since, there's only 1 Colossus. But to me, it feels random, but I think, like, of all the Thunder cards they could have hit, I mean, they've already hit Hawk, they've already hit Colossus. They're just doing more damage and putting Roar to 2. I mean, my mistake. I said 1. 2 makes no difference. Like, you could cut the card to 2. I've played the deck with 2 before, even here in the TCG. You put the card to 2 here in the TCG, it'll make no difference. So I don't really know what they were doing with that, but to each his own. Solomon Great Circle to 2. We have it at 1. Not really going to touch upon that. I guess that hits the consistency of Salads. Mind Control to 2 is so weird. I mean, is the card that huge impact? It might be, since the guy who won Worlds was main decking it, but putting it to 2, again, I don't think it makes a difference. The problem with these cards to 2 is I don't think they make a huge impact on any format. And yeah, it's just weird to me. They also put Multi-Roll to 2. Like, why? Like, put it to 1. it doesn't do anything. Like, putting it at 2, they're still gonna see it. They're still gonna see it. So I don't know. This is where the list gets really weird. They put Allure to 2 and Red Reboot to 2 to round out all these 14 cards. I don't understand Red Reboot one bit. I think that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Trap decks are that prevalent that you had to put Red Reboot to 2? I don't think so. I think that's just a weird hit. And putting Allure to 2, again, hits the consistency of these draw engines. But putting it at 2, to be honest, most players will say you don't see a significant difference between 2 and 3. So I don't really know. And then lastly, the cards that are unlimited. I don't think any of these matter. Shadow Mist for Heroes, fantastic. Makaba for the Invoke decks. Most decks are only playing 2. Kaiju Slumber, it's not doing anything. It's barely used in any of the Crusadia decks. Chain Strike, I don't like at 3. They're going to do something with Chain Burn. The players that want to play it, especially with Mystic Mind still around. So yeah, Chain Strike is... that's a really weird card to put to 3. Reasoning to 3, I mean, Infernoids are going to have an absolute field day. And then Draco Face-Off for the Pendulum decks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen here. Now, things I like about this list, I like that they hit Gunblower and Azathoth. They are trying to do away with some of the problems. I like the fact that they brought back these unlimited cards outside of Chain Strike. I don't like that at all. What I don't like about this list, I don't like the semi-limited. I think it's insane that this many cards got hit. What I would take away from this list, things that could happen over here in TCG, as far as ban cards go, I don't think anything. As far as limited cards, maybe Trident to 1, maybe. Semi-limited, I really hope they don't follow this. The only cards I like it to are Diva, Tour Guide, Unicorn, and that's it. The rest are just random as hell. But overall, I think, like, those are the few things that could happen. And as far as unlimited, just don't bring Chain Strike to 3. Like, just don't bring Chain Strike to 3. Just because we don't need any more reason for Chain Burn players to come out and, you know, rear their ugly heads. So, not a huge fan. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the list. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you like the video, give it one of these. Again, we did a crazy in the car at work video. If you guys like it, be sure to communicate that to me. And these will be how the ban list will be, because most likely it seems that they're always going to drop when I'm at work. I don't know why, but it works. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you guys think of the OCG list and how it'll impact the TCG. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.